that's a good question, and I don't have a good answer. Uh, Not the answer you want. So this is why, like, when we engage customers, we more or less always convince the customer that there is no path that is economical to migrate what you have today online into this modular infrastructure, because the modules define an architecture. And if we were trying to, like, if it was a life or death situation, literally somebody's life was on the line and this was the way we had to do it, okay, we'll try and migrate those things into this state depending on how complicated it is. And we can, the technique is basically this, is that you define the modules with as close to the parameters as you know. You do a manual import using the terraform import command of the resources. You run a terraform plan and see like 1,000 things are wrong. And then you go through all those 1,000 things and adjust and import and toggle the feature flags and the settings until it is a minimal change set that you can safely apply without downtime or impact. But we're taking like something that would ordinarily take, 5 minutes to do might take 5 days to do, or longer, depending on how complicated it is. So I would consider other things. I would consider instead, how do you think about your infrastructure in versions, maybe? How do you think about, like, maybe what your heritage environment is, where you started, and your next gen environment? Maybe even calling them V1, V2, V3. And thinking about how you can operate with more concurrent environments, so you can keep your heritage environments operating concurrently until you've migrated over to your newer environments. And those can be co-tenanted. They can be in the same VPC, or they can be in different VPCs with peering. When Cloud Posse works with a customer, we almost always start with a net new top-level AWS account organization, and we go from there. So that way we start with an environment that is basically hermetically sealed. From the get-go, we know what goes in there. It's all infrastructure as code. There's no surprises. When you try and move any module configurations into existing open source public Terraform modules, it's just messy. Anyone have something to add to that?
Yeah, I would agree. I would propose using a strangle method and just create a new account and then strangle off pieces of the old infrastructure, old whatever it is, application into the new account, and then just start lopping it off piece by piece. I wouldn't try to take a whole stack and just say, oh, we're going to modularize it, and then just kind of go at it that way.
And then you know what always happens? Like, and this is like, so then, and if it's only you on the team and you don't have enough resources on the team and you take this strategy, you know what happens? Now you got two problems. You never fully, evicted all the services from the old infrastructure. You have half your stuff on the new infrastructure. You love working with the new stuff. You're twice or three times faster than you were in the old stuff. But that remaining stuff that you have in the old infrastructure takes all remaining time out of your day. So you never finish the migration over to the new infrastructure. So, like, you need to have manager buy-in in your company. This needs to become, top down. They need to be aware of, like, this as a initiative that you're taking.
I think another important related topic, not right next to, but is the cultural changes. You're going to be introducing new concepts like immutable infrastructure that, are going to be challenges to some people.
I'm wondering, so was there a project where you not created new infrastructure, but imported the one existing?
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you a failure story. It was, we're going to go back to year 2015, I think, or 2016. I had this brilliant idea. I was tired of reinventing the wheel a dozen times. I was going to start Cloud Posse with this idea. We're going to create a shared platform everyone can collaborate on. We started down that road writing a lot of Terraform modules, and that's how we started. We got, through a referral, our first customer. They were a perfect venture-backed startup, and they wanted to build new everything, but they wanted to stabilize what they had. And I said, no problem. And I did my back of the napkin math calculations, figured out how much effort it was going to be, and got that executed really quickly. I guess we came in way too low. We get to work, and we have this existing environment. It's tons and tons of existing EC2 instances, manually configured, and we just go and start trying to come up with the equivalent of that in Terraform with a little bit of hack together Ansible. And I mean, this is far before we had anything like Atlantis. It was all, CLI based, console based stuff. And the first problem we ran into was we went to go, we'd gotten these instances up. We had a test account we'd set up with VPCs and subnets and all that. It looked a lot like what they had. It all worked fine. We go over to redeploy that in their production account. And yeah, nothing worked. And it's because they had freaking turned off DNS host names in the VPC. I didn't even know that was a thing we could do back then, but yeah, you could. And then we were relying on DNS for services, doing CNAMEs, and we were getting all, it was this nightmare, and we had to roll back. That was one of the things that we ran into down the road. And I just realized that, hey, there is no way to estimate the scope at a discount or bargain rate when you're moving or forklifting existing stuff. You just got to 10x that off the bat, and then add 50% for unknown unknown things. And that's basically what the project ended up costing, and it was a failure. So with that lesson learned, we don't touch classical configuration management. We don't try and forklift classical infrastructure. We don't touch any of that stuff with a 10-foot pole, because that's just a lot.
Especially Chef.
Oh, what was that, Joaquin?
I said especially Chef.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm like anywhere I go, I really believe in the concept of pure function. And so basically, whatever it is, whatever tool you want to do, you have inputs, it has a desired state out of that. And if you want mutations, you do wrappers around it and do your mutations, but that function's the same, it can be tested. So I was at one company, they had these data bags, which is a JSON variables, and they had tracked maybe like well over 30, probably 50 different types of configs, version numbers that are bespoke, tailored to different types of dev QA environments. And I calculated the way they did their functions, and with all these side effects, it would require 900,000 unit tests per chef.
Yeah.
So
It's just, yeah, exactly. It's a red flag when you have that much variance in anything.
yeah, I think if you're going to build it ground up, like if it was traditional infrastructure and you had control on the design patterns and to build it a certain way, then fine. But if you have to incorporate some engineer's rocket science project that he went off the Ruby Rails to and Chef or something, you're in trouble.
Yeah.